Hey, Tom.
Go on.
Guess how many days it is until NFL comes back?
You've just told me this on the horse racing podcast.
I have. It's 49 days. We're under 50 days until NFL returns. It is a few more days, obviously, until our first Sunday of the year. But Hall of Fame game is literally 2 weeks away as we're recording this right now. It's the hope. The second I saw it just dip below 50, Tom, I began to get a little bit excited.
Oh, I'm very excited. I've made a few transfers. I'm using the English terminology here, but a few trades in the NFL fantasy leagues I'm in already. So I'm looking forward to that. We have a fantasy league for the listeners that we need to talk about in a few seconds, but the season is literally on the horizon. We've got another podcast here about the AFC and what we're expecting in these two divisions. We're going to be talking about the NFC in upcoming weeks. And then, before we know it, it'll be the season.
100%. I had a trade in one of the leagues that we play in where I gave away Breece Hall, not for DeAndre Swift. There were other pieces involved, but the guy that gave DeAndre Swift has been desperately trying to get DeAndre Swift back since that day. It was like,
good.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, you never want to be going back to the X's.
No, exactly. I mean, come on now, it's DeAndre Swift. Go get better. But we do have a listener league. We are going to be giving away spots.
Plural.
We haven't decided how many, so it depends how many of you comment down below. But if you do want to get involved in the listener league, you can comment down below with any prediction that you may well have. We are going through again the rest of the AFC today. We're doing the AFC West and the AFC South. A prediction for those two divisions, a prediction for the NFL season. Full stop. It doesn't matter. Whichever way you want to play things, a prediction will just get you entered into the listener league. I have got the names down on a list now. There were some people who I wasn't sure if they were giving a prediction or just giving us abuse. So they didn't make it in. If you were one of those people, stop. But at the same time, tell us that you want to be in next. But I've got I'm going to show you this, Tom, and you're going to have to look at your screen for this.
Yeah.
You're going to see how pretty this is.
I like that a lot. How many spots are we giving away here?
I'm going to give away 2.
2 spots, okay.
We got 6 entrants that passed my criteria.
And actually, we've already got 6 entrants into the league as well. So if you have already won a spot in the league, we will be in touch in the next week or so. Once we fill up the league, we'll get this league going and we'll get a draft going. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, and it will be on Sleeper, just to reply to Laurie Quayle, who is already in the league, the second Seahawks fan that's in the league as well. We're taking over. But this week, I feel like we need some sort of like drum roll thing. I was just going to say, like, can we get our editor to do that?
Oh, that would have been easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but just scroll back. Just see how happy Tom was. Tom loves doing a drum roll. But,
well, here we go. It's my assignment. I'm in.
So I'm ramping up. The 6 are RJ Wilson, the person who created a lovely logo for us. Scott Crowley. Crowley or Crowley?
We've already talked about this.
We've done this. Crowley. It's Jim's brother. Luke B03. I like how that goes. We can't have another Luke in the league, though. I get a bit jealous of that. Toby Darby 513, Alex Gree 5501, and Connor Stroud. All like, who are you cheering for most?
Any of them, because these people always comment on our NFL videos, don't they? So they're all worthy of a spot in here, and hopefully, 2 people will hopefully get it.
Yeah, Connor Stroud's a 49ers fan.
Oh.
I don't really like that. But I mean, you're not going to be able to see much, so let's click spin. Let's get our first one going.
Oh,
takes a while. The first one is Toby just missed out. Alex Gree 5501. Yes. You can't see anything there. You can see my garden though.
Superb as well.
So Alex Gree is in. He gets removed. And we go again. So, Alex, congratulations to yourself. Like I say, we'll be in touch and we will be on Sleeper as well. Oh, no.
Go on.
We've got a 49ers fan.
Have we?
We've got a 49ers fan. Again, take a look at my garden. Connor Stroud's in.
Lovely. Good work.
So, Alex, Connor, welcome to the Listener League. At least there'll be someone taking Brock Purdy too early in the draft.
Yeah.
Like, Niners fans are like, oh, Brock Purdy's so good.
Well, it's good. It's good we're going to have a mixture of teams in there as well. We couldn't have another Seahawks fan anyway.
Exactly, yeah. We can't have 3 of them. That would be all 3 of us. But, Connor, congratulations. Alex, congratulations. To the guys that missed out, apologies. But there are so many more opportunities, including in this podcast right now. Comment down below, just season prediction. just comment on Tom's drum roll as well if you want to enter that way, because out of 10,
Oh, it's a solid 8.
so I love how the fact you don't even give it a 10.
No, no, not enough
You're like,
enthusiasm.
you're like, oh, I don't know if it's that good. I could do better. I could do better. Let's move on to the AFC West. If you aren't subscribed to this podcast, please do subscribe down below. It means a lot to us. It helps us out massively. And it's good to have you guys on board. We've got some big things planned for the NFL season coming up and in the next few weeks. And we have a horse racing podcast on our channel right now. Let's start off, Tom, by annoying Gary, who is our resident Chiefs fan. The Chiefs. Things have changed in regards to the Chiefs because they lost part of their offensive line. They've signed Trey Smith to make him one of the highest paid players at his position, 4-year deal for $94 million. Creed Humphrey's still there. They brought in Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons. Honestly, I came I came out of last season when guys were rumored to leave, thinking, well, their O line's not going to be very good, and they were just run all over by the Philadelphia Eagles. The O line looks okay, so on that part, I don't have too many issues.
Yeah, what about the other parts? Sorry, Gary and all Chiefs fans. I'm going to be sticking by my mantra here. They are regressing. The Chiefs are regressing. I am not anticipating them to be the number 1 seed in the AFC this year. Maybe not even the number 2. I think they will be vying for other spots. They could still win this division, which I don't think is kind of original to say. Most people would expect them to win this division, but I don't actually have them down as my number 1 in the AFC West. So it'll be fascinating to see how they get on. Look, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's great. There are no real questions here. He turns up, he produces throws that other NFL quarterbacks can't do in the league. He seems to be able to win games that other NFL quarterbacks can't win. And he's going to do his stuff, providing he stays healthy. You've then got a good pass attack. I use the word good lightly. I don't think it's great. But if Rashee Rice can play the whole season, then that definitely helps. Xavier Worthy is going to be a massive addition to this team. And, well, I'd say to this team, he's already played 1 year, but he's going to be a bigger addition this term. There'll be more about him later towards the end of the podcast. And then you've also got other threats in this offense. Travis Kelce, I believe, is definitely on the downturn. I don't know how much game time he's going to see, whether it's still going to be 100% of the snaps like we're used to, or whether he's going to be swapped in and out with the likes of Noah Gray, but he definitely doesn't have the same motor as he's had in previous years. He will still be a threat in the red zone, no question about that. He will probably still be running seams. He'll probably still be taking those hitch routes 7 yards to gain first downs, but I don't know if he's going to be producing 100-yard games time after time like we used to from Travis Kelce. I think that the Chiefs rely a lot on what is going to happen in the running game this year. Isaiah Pacheco has been a really good back. He's been one of my favorite backs over the last few seasons. I love how hard he runs. But after that injury last year, he seemed to be a different guy. Kareem Hunt's old now. I think he's 29. They re-signed him. But again, I don't trust him much. Brashard Smith could be useful, but he's not going to get many carries at the start of the season. So I think it very much determines how they're going to perform this year, how well they can run the ball and get these first downs. The Chiefs are going to be good. Whether they're going to be great, I'm not so sure.
Do you want to know what would be best for you if you take Travis Kelce in fantasy football? If the Chiefs go 0-2, because they've got the Chargers in week 1 and they've got the Eagles in week 2. There is a live chance that the Chiefs go 0-2
Yeah.
to start things off. Off the back of that, the reason that Travis Kelce's been played less in recent years is because they're going to make the playoffs. It doesn't matter. But if you lose to a divisional rival to start with, and then you lose to the guys that beat you in the Super Bowl, suddenly you're going to have to play your guys, and you're going to have to bring Travis Kelce out a little bit more. That might not be a bad thing. They've got an absolute layup in week 3 because they're on Sunday Night Football playing the Giants, and they should whoop them to high heavens. So that part will be okay. But maybe that could be an angle to watch for. I do worry about Rashee Rice. Obviously, he's coming off the back of a quite devastating knee injury caused by Patrick Mahomes falling on his leg last year. They have said they're going to be a more explosive passing offense. I like that. Look, Patrick Mahomes, he was fantastic for fantasy football. I say years ago now, it literally is. He's been in the league, I think this is year 9, loading up. But if they are going to use Xavier Worthy like a Tyreek Hill a few years ago, that's going to be a massive part. And if Xavier Worthy is in here without Rashee Rice to start the year off, who, by the way, could still be suspended, albeit it is looking less likely on his off-the-field charges from, I think it's a couple of years ago now. maybe Xavier Worthy could be a huge player for the Chiefs. Obviously, you're a big Isaiah Pacheco fan. Regressed last year massively off the back of the injury. He only managed to play 7 games, 1 touchdown, and he averaged 3.73 yards per carry, which, while it's not absolutely disgraceful, it's not exactly what you're looking for. I mean, Pacheco's still the RB1 in this team, Tom.
Yeah, he
Would,
absolutely is.
would you draft him?
No, I wouldn't. No, I've actually traded him out of one of my teams in the last couple of weeks. And it's not because
Wow.
I don't like Pacheco anymore. It's just I don't trust the Chiefs to run the ball enough to give him that stat line that makes him a valuable fantasy quantity. You've got what I don't know about if you've got the stats there to hand for Pacheco last year, but it seemed like every game he was averaging between 10 and 14 carries. That's not enough. He's not even
Mhm.
really used in the red zone. It just feels like Pacheco isn't really that good for fantasy. He's a good player, and if he gets back to his best, he's crucial to the Chiefs. But I can't have him, and I can't have Kelsey either because, as you've just talked about there, big plays they are looking to kind of secure this year. They want to be more explosive on offense. Kelsey's not explosive anymore,
No, albeit I would rather have Kelsey over Pacheco
for
of
sure,
the two.
for sure.
Yeah, but that comes hand in hand with obviously tight end taken on running backs. We move on from the Chiefs to the Broncos. Now, this is an interesting one because we've already done a few off-season podcasts and we've put a few bets up so far. One of the bets that you put up earlier on in the off-season was the Broncos to win this division. How do you feel about that right now?
I feel great. No, I really do
Yeah.
feel good. This was the first bet I put up, I think, in the NFL podcast. I did say last week when we did the other AFC divisions that we've only done one or two anti-post pods. I think it's now four, so there are more
Yes.
bets that we've talked about. Hopefully, we can do a recap before the start of the season. But yeah, the first one I put up was the Denver Broncos to win this division at 4-1. That was back in March, I believe, one of our podcasts in March. Now we're into July. The price is 3-1, so we have got a bit of value there. I think that price will continue to tumble, and it wouldn't be surprising if there were more like 2-1 to win the division by the time it starts. This offense is good. The defense is great. I think this could be a proper team going forward this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won this division and even gained, the 1 or the 2 seed in the AFC. I really do have high expectations for Denver. Bo Nix does need to prove it, and obviously that's not a given. But their offense otherwise is so strong, I think, and maybe going under the radar a little bit. The wideouts, you don't have necessarily elite wideouts there, albeit
Mhm.
Cortland Sutton's very good, but you do have a whole stack of young players that could take that step forward. I love the running game. And RJ Harvey, if he does sign that rookie contract, the new running back for the Broncos, I think he's lethal. Did you see a couple of the videos from training camp with this guy? He is explosive, agile, great balance. I think he could be key to the Broncos. And we don't even need to talk about this defense, do we? It's phenomenal.
No. The defense is fantastic. I mean, they brought in part of the 49ers defense in free agency. They've added Evan Ingram to tight end. Talanoa Funga, who both myself and Tom love as a player, is coming in. I love Dre Greenlaw, but I couldn't like him because he was a Niners player. Love him on the Broncos. What a guy. Dre Greenlaw is a big addition. And they paid DJ Jones as well to get him back. They also drafted Jade Barron at cornerback, who was probably the best cornerback in the class. I mean, he's going to be sat across Pat Surtain. If they both click, my word, this defense is going to be so hard to pass on. And we saw last year they do need that extra depth because Pat Surtain, he did miss 1 or 2 games. I think he had a concussion earlier on in the year, and the defense they suffered massively because of that. So it is something to keep in mind. As Tom says, RJ Harvey is in here. I think you sort of hit the nail on the head with the potential struggle point. I like Bo Nix. He was my fancy quarterback that took me to a fancy championship last year. But he passed for 3,775 yards. That's a fair way behind what CJ Stroud did when he was a rookie. Justin Herbert is saying 29 touchdowns. Again, that's fine. Not outstanding, but it's fine. He only went over 300 yards in 2 games. One of them was against the Chiefs backups in week 18. So, look, this isn't an anti-Bo Nix thing, but if you are going to point out the weakest part of the game, it probably is the passing offense, Tom.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I do think they're going to get more kind of accustomed to this program outside. You got Troy Franklin out there who looked pretty raw last year. You've got Devon Vele as well, who I'm sure is going to take a step forward, albeit he is quite an old player for his years of experience in the
Mm.
NFL. So I do think the wideouts kind of contributed to the fact that Bo Nix didn't necessarily produce huge stat lines. But with the likes of Evan Ingram, Cortland Sutton, he's going to have two big targets there that know what it's like to play week in, week out in the NFL. And Bo Nix is only going to improve. And I think crucially, if they can get this running game going and be more explosive with RJ Harvey and the other running backs they've got there, that's only going to help him. And Bo Nix's legs, that is a huge,
Mhm.
huge
Yeah.
angle of attack for Denver. He is great at running the ball. For a guy that looks like a pocket passer, e.g., physique, his legs are bloody useful.
Yeah, I mean, with our weekly previews, Bo Nix's rushing yards was something we collected on like 4, 5 times last year.
Yeah.
With his legs, he is very, very talented, and that's part of the reason why he is so well respected in fantasy football alone. Just one last thing on the Broncos: Cortland Sutton does want a new contract. Potentially, he might hold out slash hold in because that's what you do when you don't get fined. We'll track what's happening regards to Cortland Sutton. And we'll move on to the Chargers, who they've got holdout issues of their own. We'll get to that in a moment. The starting point with the Chargers, Tom, is the Najee Harris incident that
Mm.
kind of was swept under the rug. But on the 4th of July, there was a fireworks incident. I think someone in the party ended up losing a finger. Najee Harris, it was reported from some people that he had lost his eye. That apparently is not true. It was a superficial injury, but I mean, he's not going to practice for a little while. And it sounds, if it's not really devastatingly serious, Tom, it's definitely something to note from a football angle.
For sure, yeah, and Najee Harris is going to be a big part of this offense, but equally, he's probably going to be RB2 behind Amarian Hampton. So it's a bit of a look, it's not ideal kind of situation, but equally, they have got someone there. It's not like they're taking out their star player if he is forced to miss a few games or there's some repercussion from this injury. He has got a long time between now and the start of the season. If it is a superficial injury, then I'm sure he'll be recovered, but it's definitely a news story, that's for sure.
100%. Like I say, it might just elevate Amari Hampton even earlier than he was going to be elevated. But we wish Najee the best. He's a hilarious guy and he's very entertaining, but he's also very reliable on the football field. Mike Williams is back in town. He will probably start the season on the pup list. Khalil Mack is back in town as well. They've got Mekhi Becton from the Jets. If he can stay healthy, that's a big addition. The problem that I've got with the Chargers, Tom, they've got a ton of cap space moving on to next year.
Hmm.
Maybe that's their Super Bowl sort of run. But at the same time, they made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I just don't like the Chargers as a team. Not from a personal perspective, but from like an expectations perspective, because they just seem to lose so many games at one score. By 6 points, by 3 points, they're losing the last kick of the game. I don't know what it is. It's like a mentality with the Chargers kind of franchise that they can't get over the line. Justin Herbert's been there for a few years now. He hasn't been helped on the O line at all throughout his whole tenure. But equally, he's had areas where he could be a little bit better. He's a very good quarterback. He just takes a beating every single game. And they have amended this O line slightly, but I don't know if they've done it enough to make them proper Super Bowl or deep playoff contenders. I don't think they'll win this division. I don't think they'll finish second in this division, but they could come third and they could make a wild card spot. I don't know with the Chargers. Until I see them go and do it and do it and do it, over and over again, winning these games, then I don't really believe in them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They are a team that still have to take a leap. I just feel that they're too big guns short. You've got the likes of, you need a tight end. I mean, you've brought in obviously Will Disley from last year. Tyler Conklin is here as well. They just seem a tight end short. Who? I mean, you predicted they would take a tight end in the first round this draft.
Yeah, and to be fair, I do think they've got a nice tight end in Aronde Gadsden. I think I'm correct in saying he's with them. I have got him in a couple of my dynasty fantasy leagues. I think he's going to be a guy that you shouldn't sleep on for fantasy perspective, especially if it's a deep league. Maybe he won't be impactful in the first couple of weeks of this season, for example. But Gadsden at college was pretty useful. He looked like he had the kind of talent to progress into an NFL player. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if he became a big threat and a guy that actually they lean on quite a bit in the later part of the season and definitely going into next year. So they do have a guy, but right now he's under the radar. And we should also talk about Lab McConkey.
Yeah, I mean, Lad McConkey is the wide receiver one here, but it's Lad McConkey and then the rest. I mean,
Yeah.
Trey Harris, he might be holding out as well. He's the rookie that they picked up in the second round. Lad McConkey's great. Lad McConkey's going to be great. He was fantastic back end of last year. He just can't do it all by himself.
It's very true. Yeah, and that's what they tried to make him do last season. So I don't think that'll be the case this year, albeit they're going to lean on him heavily. The thing is, the Chargers go down in games. They make mistakes early in games. They make mental mistakes throughout virtually every game. And then when that happens, it is who can we lean on? And it's Herbert and it's McConkey. Maybe this year Hampton can be the guy that helps that.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to need to be as well because they're going to have to step up. Their running game last year was good, but I think I think the coaching staff would like just a real bell cow running back. Where do you stand on the second round rookies? Because at the moment, 30 of the 32 second round rookies are holding out. The guys that have been paid, they were given fully guaranteed contracts,
That's
which is
right.
wild.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston paid Higgins and Cleveland love giving people fully guaranteed contracts. That's worked out well for you, hasn't it? But they signed Schwesinger to a fully guaranteed contract. All the other 30 at the moment are thinking, well, if they're getting fully guaranteed contracts, I want one as well. And Trey Harris is one of those 30.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? I think that deal for Higgins was a little bit too much, and that has kind of forced this issue. We'll see what happens. I'm sure most of them will sign. They don't want to make a negative impact immediately when going into the NFL. Lots of these players have huge egos. It just comes with the nature, really. But hopefully, most of them sign, and we can just get away from this matter.
Yeah, the Bengals' second round draft pick. I completely forgot his name off the top of my head. He's said that he might go back to Texas A&M.
Yeah,
So literally, he
crazy.
might do a U-turn and then go back in the draft next year, which is wild. But it is something I would assume that we're going to get things cleared up in the next few weeks or so because training camp is pretty much upon us. It does need cleaning up, as did the Raiders from last year, and they've done an okay job of it so far. They traded for Geno Smith. They've got a quarterback. They drafted Ashton Genty. They had a few nice sort of guys around. They brought in Pete Carroll as head coach. Look, I'm a Seahawks fan. Pete Carroll has been fantastic for the Seahawks for many, many years. But for the last 3 years of Pete Carroll's tenure, I thought the Seahawks could have been a lot better than they actually were. So I'm cheering for Pete Carroll. I would love to see the Raiders be a good team, Tom. I just don't see it.
No, I don't see it either. Do you remember when Saquon Barkley signed for the Giants and every play was literally Barkley? And then when
Mhm.
he wasn't on the field, they were absolutely terrible. I feel like
Yeah.
this is going to be the case this year. It's going to be Ashton Genty, and that's it. Geno Smith, I don't really like him. You obviously, as a Seahawks fan, have a
Well, okay, but he's better than Gardner Minshew.
okay, but what's the bar here? Gardner Minshew's not a starter in the NFL. He's a backup now in the Chiefs. It's not like
Okay, but Geno Smith is a serviceable quarterback. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's been top five, I think, in passing yards the last 2 years. He definitely was last year. He will get the job done for you.
the
I
problem.
think they overpaid for him.
The problem is the mistakes, right? Every game he makes mistakes, and you just can't win games. Look at this division. The Chargers are going to be decent, not maybe
Mhm.
great, but they'll be decent. The Chiefs are going to be good; they always are. The Broncos should be excellent, and with that defense, I mean, where are the Raiders going to win in this division? That's the problem. And if Geno Smith is making small mistakes, which he does, then it's just going to become a lot harder. They have the worst wide receiver room in the league, or one of them anyway. There's just very little talent in there. They've got a couple of nice rookies, but it's going to take them a few games at least to get into this kind of league and how fast the defense move around the field. So I don't see it. The Raiders' defense, in my opinion, stinks, and it's going to be all on Ashton Genty. And one running back cannot control a game.
It is. Brock Bowers is there as well. I've got worries about Brock Bowers this year,
So do I.
which is something that I don't think many people are sort of saying. I've heard a few people mention a few concerns, but Pete Carroll
Yes.
loves his tight ends. Pete Carroll doesn't like throwing to his tight
No.
ends. I mean, Pete Carroll doesn't like throwing the ball full stop. Pete Carroll, this is just something to throw at you. Pete Carroll, as a head coach in the NFL, has never had a receiver go over 100 catches in a year.
Yeah.
The highest I think was Doug Baldwin. I think he got 92. He doesn't overuse tight ends. Tight ends are there to block and they're there to catch every now and then for Pete Carroll. He's never had a tight end as good as Brock Bowers. I will say that much. So maybe things are different. The best tight end he's had in a season was Jimmy Graham back in 2016. And at the time, Jimmy Graham was one of the better tight ends in the league. Full stop. Seattle picked him up from New Orleans. He notched up 923 yards. I mean, Brock Bowers was above that last year. He should be the focal point of this offense. You should be using him absolutely everywhere that you possibly can. I just don't know if Pete Carroll's going to do that.
No, I agree with you. I think he'll still have a good year, but he's not going to have as good a year as he did 12 months ago. And I much prefer the likes of Trey McBride when it comes to drafting tight ends. People will be looking to Brock Bowers, but he should have a nice season. I don't think he's going to have a great season.
100%. I'm completely with you with McBride. He's tight end one effectively for me. Would you rather Bowers or Kittle?
Bowers, for sure.
Still Bowers. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. I was going to see how far you were going to go down. I think Jacoby Myers is a guy that you should be trying to take as your third wide receiver in fantasy football. He will get targets. He will get yards. He played 15 games last year. He went over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. So I think he is an angle in for the Raiders. But that is us done regards to that division. We'll move on to the next from the AFC West to the AFC South. I must say, Tom, far less interesting division. The Texans start things off. Again, they made the playoffs last year. The O-line was a big problem last season. I think it's going to be a big problem again this year.
Yeah, I do expect it to be a little bit better because they have signed a couple of players in here. They've got Cam Robinson and Trent Brown, I think, to help out the O-line. So I do think it'll be better, but it needs to. CJ Stroud was sacked the second most of any quarterback last year, barely had any time in the pocket. So he needs to be protected and enable him to use his rocket arm and great decision making. He looked brilliant 2 years ago, didn't he, CJ Stroud? Last year he looked okay, but he just didn't have the time in the pocket. If they can give him that, I think that the Texans will get back to where they were. And they've got the likes of Nico Collins, who's fantastic, an elite wide receiver. They've signed Jaden Higgins. They've got the other rookie as well, Noel, however he wants to say it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is talent at wideout. Tank Dell's coming back off the injury. Not quite sure what to expect from him. And they got rid of Stephon Diggs, which is a massive positive given his off-the-field antics. So I actually quite like Houston. Joe Mixon's solid at running back. The defense is okay. I think they'll probably win the division, but I don't think it's a very good division.
It's not. No, it's not a deep division at all. This is a division where if you get to 10, you've probably won the division. As Tom says, Stroud was sacked second most in the NFL last year. That was 52 times. He was pressured on 38.6% of his dropbacks as well. That was fourth in the NFL. The O-line was just terrible. It might not be better, quite frankly. Like I say, Laramie Tunsil's gone from left tackle. He's over in Washington now. I just don't trust that CJ Stroud's going to get more time. One thing I do trust is that CJ Stroud's going to have a better receiving core because Nico Collins, he missed time last year through injury. Tank Dell, as we know, started off hurt, then he got hurt once again. I think Tank Dell might be done for the year. I don't know if we'll see Tank Dell play football this season. It was a really, really bad injury he suffered against the Chiefs last year. And obviously, Stephon Diggs isn't here anymore, but he got hurt last year as well. So you've got a younger receiving room. Do you know who's back in, though, Tom? Who's joining this team?
Go on.
Christian Kirk.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Talking of guys that never get injured. I think Christian Kirk, when he's healthy, he'll be okay. He might be the early season escape for CJ Stroud. It'll be him and Dalton Schultz because the Christian Kirk will just play in the slot. They have come out and said that Christian Kirk is going to be our slot guy as well. So very late on in drafts, you are at least getting a guy who will be playing.
Can I give you a bold prediction?
Oh, go on.
Christian Kirk over 100 yards the first time the Texans play the Jaguars. There's my bold prediction.
What, you got a revenge game, are you?
Revenge game, yeah.
Fair enough. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Do you know when they play each other first?
I don't, but I presume it's quite early.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll be twice this year because that's how things work. But speaking of the Jags, we'll move on to Jacksonville. They've kind of got a new look team because they traded up to get Travis Hunter. They traded a lot to get Travis Hunter. They traded away, well, not traded away. No, actually, sorry, they did trade Christian Kirk for not much. They released Evan Engram. Liam Cohen's in as head coach after a fantastic year as offensive coordinator in Tampa. I think there's a lot to like about Jacksonville turning things around a touch. I'm not going to say that they're going to be a playoff team. I'm not going to say they're going to be a contender, but they'll be better than last year.
On paper, they look good, don't they? You've got Brian Thomas Jr. looks fantastic. Trevor Lawrence, everyone's always talked about him as being this elite QB, even when he was at Clemson and actually when he was in high school as well. He hasn't really cut it, but he hasn't been terrible either. You've obviously got Hunter, as you've talked about. What's he going to be in the NFL? If they're using him more at wide out, then you're going to have a two-pronged attack out there of fantastic, brilliant, kind of game-changing players. He could play DB as well, and he could be useful in that area of the game. They have a lot of areas where they look good on paper. Even at running back, you look at Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, and you're thinking, well, maybe they could do some things on the ground as well. And then you realize it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and every single year, this is what they talk about. We talk about how the Jaguars are going to be better, and then they never really are. And I looked back at the stats actually of their records per season, and if you go back all the way to 2007 and have a look at every season since, how many times do you reckon they've racked up 10 wins or more?
Probably none.
Once, and it was 10
No.
wins. And that, do you know who the quarterback was? It was Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say that's when they made the playoffs.
yeah, Trevor Lawrence wasn't
That's
even
when
in
they
it
were
yet.
one game away from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, that was just an insane run, wasn't it, for a team that didn't really warrant it? Whereas now it looks like they do warrant it, and Trevor Lawrence hasn't done it yet. So we'll see. I don't trust them.
He hasn't. I do believe a bit more in Jacksonville this year, though, and I know it's a stupid thing to do because if you believe in Jacksonville, they'll show you many reasons why you shouldn't do that. Trevor Lawrence, he missed time last year. He only played 10 games before his injury cut the season short, albeit they were also out of contention. So whether he could have come back, I'm not sure. He's a tough guy, Trevor Lawrence. So he does play through pain a lot. Mac Jones came in back end of last year, and Brian Thomas was fantastic with Mac Jones. I do think the Liam Cohen offense will suit this team a lot more. Obviously, Evan Engram's not here. Brenton Strange is probably going to be their tight end one. I think Travis Etienne could be back for another, I'm not going to say big year, but I think an okay year.
We disagree
Obviously, in
there.
fact, go.
I
You
don't
agree?
like him much. I prefer Bigsby. I really do.
Oh, no, you're wrong on that one. Travis Etienne, I think he'll be involved in the passing game a lot more. I can kind of see him being like a Rashad White from Tampa, not necessarily last year, but Bucky Irving was helped out massively by Liam Cohen. I can just see this offense receiving a little bit of a boost, but at the same time, they're going to need it. I it doesn't feel good. I'm going to be honest, Tom, saying I think the Jacksonville Jaguars will be okay, but I just think they will.
Okay, on to the Colts.
Yeah, onto the Colts, who I don't think will be okay. I think the Colts are in trouble. Things did not go fantastically last year. They had injuries aplenty. Anthony Richardson got hurt earlier on in the year. He's already hurt and he's behind schedule, which may well mean that Daniel Jones, who's been brought in, is going to be potentially starting quarterback to start the year off. But they have added guys for depth and to upgrade things elsewhere. Javarius Ward, Cam Bynum's in. As we say, Daniel Jones is in town. Tyler Warren was drafted as the second tight end in round one of the NFL draft. So, look, there are changes, but I do think there are some positive changes.
Yeah, I do like the acquisitions actually. Warren and Ward being the two main ones. I think this actually revolves all around Anthony Richardson. I really do. And actually, it's the same case when we talk about the Titans in a few minutes. It's all about the quarterbacks for both of these teams. I think in this instance with Richardson, who did gain a bit of experience in the NFL last year, but didn't really showcase his talents to great effect. If he can step up and he can be that quarterback who plays every single game throughout the regular season, he's consistent, he doesn't make as many mistakes, then I think he's key. If they use his legs more, that would be great for this offense. I think that would definitely help. We want to see a dual purpose kind of running option game out there with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, two players who are extremely hard to bring down. That would then make it a lot easier for the likes of Tyler Warren, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs out wide to catch the ball and get space. Because last year it seemed like they were just covered throughout the whole part of the game. Obviously not Warren, but the others. So I think the run option is the key to the Colts. And if Richardson steps up, I think they've got a good chance of going close to winning the division. If he doesn't step up, which is probably more likely, then they're probably going to have another poor season.
I'm not sure how many chances he'll get to start, honestly, because if he's behind schedule already and Daniel Jones is taking
But mate,
first team
it's Daniel
snaps,
Jones. It's Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is not a terrible quarterback. Genuinely,
Clip that.
he,
Somebody clip that.
he's not. He's fine. He can do a job as an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying go out and draft him in fantasy because that would be dumb, but he can do a job. He's been behind an awful offensive line in New York for as long as he can remember, and probably at times he's forgot. But this is a better team that he's coming into. He's got a running game that's going to be better for him. Obviously, he has a Saquon Barkley in the past, but Jonathan Taylor ended last year. I mean, ridiculously hot. Granted, against real bad run defense, I should say. Keep that in mind. Don't go over the top. But Jonathan Taylor, we know, is a good player. I do worry a bit about their defense because they brought in Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator from Cincinnati. I can't imagine too many people looked at Cincinnati's defense the last 2 years and gone, "Yeah, we should get the guys running that. That's going to be a real good idea." But historically, Lou Anarumo has done well, so hopefully he can turn things around. But I don't like the Colts at all this year, Tom.
Well, I think we should have a match bet. You can have the Jags. I'll have the Colts. Whoever ends the season with a better record, the other person can owe someone something.
Lap in the face. I've won that. I've won that. Titans. Let's move on to the Titans, who are probably booked for fourth.
Probably.
Cam Ward. Well, yeah, okay. They're most
Definitely.
most likely booked for fourth. They brought in Cam Ward as a number one overall pick. That's fine. I don't love Cam Ward. I think he's good, but he's not a quarterback that was picked number one overall that you're going to be going absolutely mental about. He just needs to be surrounded by a bit more talent. I like that they've tried to protect him on the O line by bringing a few more guys in, but I mean, Calvin Ridley's number one in the receiving room. It's not going to help out.
No, Ridley's 30 as well now, which is surprising, but he is. So it's not like he's young. They don't have much talent out there. At running back, I think Ty J. Spears is going to be the guy from the middle part of the season onwards. Tony Pollard will probably get the ball in the first few weeks, but I think Spears is a little bit more explosive now. Cam Ward needs to be great. He's probably not going to be because he's a rookie QB. Nothing against him. He doesn't have the weapons, as you've already talked about. I don't see the Titans doing well this year. It feels like a 4, 5, 6 kind of win season.
Mhm.
For me, they are easily bypassable if you're looking at who's going to win the division. And if you're looking for fantasy prospects, there aren't many in this team.
No, I'll give you one. Chigakonkwo.
Yeah, but this is for someone who's missed out on tight ends for the first 10 rounds of the draft, and then they're trying to find one. I don't feel like he's a guy that you're going to be going, Chica Conquer's at the top of my shortlist.
The thing is with Chig, I don't get why they don't just give him more chances. Every time they ask Chig Okonkwo to step up, he goes, "Yeah, I'm a really good tight end," and he performs well. He ended last season fantastically, and then start of the season they just forget that he can play football, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just throw to Calvin Ridley instead." They have brought one or two guys in on the receiving core. I mean, Tyler Lockett's come over after being I don't know if he's released or contract ran out from Seattle. Draymond Jones from Seattle as well on defense. And like I say, their offensive line, they're building around Cam Ward. Dan Moore's in. JC Latham's going to switch to right tackle with Dan Moore going to left tackle, and Kevin Zeitler's come and join. So they are protecting Cam Ward. That's great. They just need to give Cam Ward people to throw to because at the moment he can't, like with Lapakonki, he can't do it all by himself. However, with the division being so bad, I think this might be the last year before Tennessee are really challenging in the division.
Potentially. Yeah, they should end up with some good draft picks at the end of this season. So I think they'll probably go for a wide receiver or someone along that route. Did they sign? They picked up that rookie wideout, didn't they? I think from Texas.
Yes. Is it again? Sorry.
The guy from Texas, I think. I might be wrong. I'm not sure.
Isaiah Bond.
Was that? Did he go to the Titans?
I don't know. Off the top of my
I'm
head,
not
I'm not
sure.
sure. I know
They definitely got a rookie
they
wideout.
yeah, they picked up Restrepo after the draft. Obviously, he played with Cam Ward in college, but I mean, they need lots of guys. This is a team. Just go get Keenan Allen.
I
Like,
think
just
he'll
go
go
get
back to the
him.
Chargers, won't he?
I think he will, but just go get him. Like, or get Amari Cooper. Put him
Yeah,
on like a vet minimum. Like, just one of them. Just help out Cam Ward a little bit.
yeah.
But those guys are still out there. Look, let's go into our bets. I'll let you go first, Tom. Who's your bet for this podcast?
Yeah, we're going to go all the way back to the start of this podcast where we're talking about the Chiefs. And Gary, I hope you're still here, and any Chiefs fans. I do spend quite a lot of time knocking them, and it's not from a vendetta point of view. I just genuinely think that think these things. But the bet is going to be Chiefs favouring, and it's going to be Xavier Worthy over 6.5 receiving touchdowns, even money. I think that's a really good bet. I know it's relatively short, but it's a match bet between an over and under. You're never going to get a price. 6.5 seems like a fair line if you go back to what we saw last year from Worthy, where he had 6 receiving touchdowns. So, he needs one more to cover the over. He also had 3 rushing touchdowns last year, not worth overlooking. And when we're talking about this team, the Chiefs, who have been tight end heavy. They've been playing basically to Kelsey. He's been option number one for the last however many years, really. Tyreek Hill aside, when he was there, and it just feels like it's going to be a big play offense. They've already said they want more big plays in the offense. Mahomes delivers the deep ball as good as any other quarterback in the league. Who's the fastest guy on this offense out wide? It's Worthy. He set that 40-yard dash record. I think it was 4.21 seconds or something ridiculous. This guy is rapid. He runs great routes. He is going to be the number one option on deep routes. And he's not just a deep threat. He can get the ball in the middle of the field and in cuts, out cuts, going 20 yards. He can also take them on screens. And he's used in the running game, as we know, albeit that doesn't count for this bet. I think he racks up at least 7 touchdowns this year. I like him from a fantasy perspective. And this bet to me seems like a bit of a banker.
Yeah, this could be value right now. If Rashee Rice does miss the first 4 weeks of the season, then suddenly Xavier Worthy's going to be getting a lot more. I'm I'm doing the thing I don't like. I'm going to go Jacksonville to win the division. They're 3-1. I think that's. I yeah, we should be the Jags. We should be. They're a horrible organization. But look, the season could start off well for them. They've got the Panthers in week 1. Don't mind that. It's a game that you are absolutely competitive in. They've got the Bengals in week 2, which they shouldn't be winning. They've got the Texans coming up in week 3 as well. So, regards to that, I think they could start off potentially 2-1. The Texans, they could start off, 0-3. They've got the Rams, they've got Tampa, and then they've got Jacksonville. It might be an ugly start. I just think Jacksonville will be a good team this year, Tom. And I think 3-1. I think that's a very fair price with Liam Cohen at the helm.
I would love to agree with you, but in this instance, I don't. But well, we've got a whole
No.
season, and hopefully you can land a nice bet.
Yes, we'll see how we go. But that is our NFL podcast done. Congratulations to our 2 new Listener League entrants. If you missed out this podcast, don't worry. We've still got chances coming up. But leave a comment down below an NFL season prediction on anything you possibly want, or just talk about Tom's drum rolling earlier on. That is absolutely fine as well. That will get you a position to potentially enter into the Listener League. That will be done on the next podcast, which Tom will be in likely a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, it might even be next week. You never know. We'll be talking about a couple of the NFC, divisions. Maybe the NFC North, which I am gearing myself up for.
It's no NFC West, but fine, that's whatever. Yeah, it's better. It's a lot better. Right, that's NFL done on the Turf and Touchdowns podcast. We'll see you in a week or 2. Thank you very much for your support. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the Turf and Touchdowns page. Until we next get to speak to you guys, stay safe. Look after one then. Goodbye.